Imagine that day you study for a world-class degree, sitting in your bedroom in Bali, work together with a classmate in Jakarta, and attend a lectures from professor in Semarang. Sounds like anything but science fiction, doesn't it? Well, that's the denial of the future we're maintaining while continuing a structure. The question is not whether we'll one day have an online tertiary education that can work full-time, but rather whether we're willing to take the jump and embrace the possibilities that already exist. Well, people, what is the most exciting part of learning and get to do anything from studying in an online world? As we all have been practicing this kind of learning technique by online educational since the COVID-19 pandemic, we, as all the world, did that because we had to. We cannot spread the illness or the viruses even more to the people around us. In this context, I strongly believe that this is not just some alternative to traditional learning, but on the other hand, it is a necessary evolution that brings accessibility, efficiency, flexibility, and even a global opportunity to the hands of students everywhere. The purpose of tertiary education is to equip students with knowledge, skills, and of course, their opportunity. In any case of who they are or where they are come from. In the world that we're increasingly digital, global and flexible, our educational system must reflect in those sound values. These are no longer serve the needs of today learning. A permanent move to online education or college is not just a response of technology, but it is a satisfaction at revolutions in equity. Well, people, it is why under these propositions of emphasizing social justice and equity, well, recognizing this debate is not just about how you deliver classes, but it also who gets the opportunity to learn in the first place. All physical universities have historically defeated all those who cannot afford relocations, cannot sit in lectures halls, or cannot even give a full-time hours for attendance to fulfill for their other responsibilities. But now, online universities have taken all that things away through the doors of geography, disability, and income, creating a more inclusive academic future. Well, now an education is available in this model to anyone inclined toward learning. For an example, when he sees from a farmer's daughter in some village to a single father in a city. This means that such an individual can now access such a world-class education right in his own time. Well, people, the reason why we must take a note from the proposition, right, is that because this is one of the 100 ways of the education evolution. Well, having considered that this has always been a case with universities, from blackboards to projectors, from textbook to digital tools, internet-based tertiary education is simply an extension upon that into contemporary. It should be driven not by the necessity of making it temporary, but it is to deny the developed that already made and the future possibilities. To make it permanent, this is not mean to do without quality, but instead it means to adapt and advance education to meet modern needs. Well, people, let's keep in mind that the world is transforming. Work goes online, communication goes online, and innovation even happens online. Why keep universities stuck in the past? If our students will graduate into a virtual first world, their education should prepare from what space to. On the important note, moving entirely online to teach the tertiary level doesn't make compromises. It's a prep work. As for the next generations, we simply owe it to them to provide them with instruments, flexibility, and access to the new sailors to require the new selves. Well, taking into consideration the online permanent tertiary education have lots of benefits guided by what the propositions need to be justified. Why is this advantageous is profitable? Well, people, let's bear in mind that cost efficiency is one of the most compelling reasons to permanently shift to online tertiary education is the significant reeducation cost. But for both students and institutions, for students, online learning eliminates expensive as housing, transportation, food, and printed online learning materials. This makes a higher education more accessible for low-income and rural students who might otherwise be priced out by the system or even by the principal. Well, on the university side, institution can save some infrastructures, maintains electricity, and even staff. These savings can save so many things, can be reinvested into improving digital platforms, hiring better lecturers, or even reducing tuition fees. In short, online education allows us to do more with less, but making them a system more financially sustainable for everyone. And well, unlike the traditional education where students must stick to be fixing schedules and classroom rules, online education gives us as students controls over their learning. They can choose when and where they are going to be studying, allowing them to balance academic life with jobs, caregiving, and other responsibilities. They can pause, rewatch, and revisit lectures at their own pace. Something impossible in some kind of like a person settings. This flexibility doesn't mean that lower standards. In fact, it respects different ways people learn, whether fast or slow, or even in early morning or late at night. By trusting students with more autonomy, online education empowers them to take charge of their academic journey. Viewing with appreciation, online tertiary education opens the door to a truly global classroom. Students from different countries and time zones can learn together, collaborate them on group projects, and engage in cultural exchange, all without needing to travel. Universities can invite guest lecturers from around the world, share resources across campuses, and of course, join programs with international partners. This can create more and more the preparation students for an interconnect world and gives them the opportunities that were once available to those who could afford to study school. So people, let's keep in mind that this online tertiary education is a very good and a very potential way to building a good for our future generations.